Andrews Presbyterian Church in Germiston, a church that has a history going back to 1890. A church over many years has seen many change, particularly to the CBD of Germiston, and a church that understands that our congregation matters, that we worship in a sanctuary, but it is the church that does the work of God. Andrews Presbyterian Church in Germiston, it is a haven for children and teens in the surrounding flats and areas. This is the foundation of our children's church, of which half our membership is children and teens. But this changed in an instant, but I'll let the session clerk, Mrs. Beverly Campbell, tell the story.
The 12th of August 2025 changed the lives of many of our Sunday school children who lived in the Farrer Park buildings in Germiston, very close to our church. This was the date that the children and their families were evicted from their homes. While there were numerous reasons for these evictions, the fact remained that many were left homeless. The parents having been threatened, their belongings being damaged and or broken, and some of our teenage girls were inappropriately propositioned during this eviction.
And so we were faced with either doing nothing or doing something. And so while the sanctuary was empty and the streets were burning, the children and teens being displaced, the congregation were reminded of Jesus, who went about preaching to the large crowds and teaching them, and having compassion for them. He turned to his disciples and said, "The harvest truly is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." The congregation began to understand firsthand what it meant to be missional in the center of Germiston.
Many of the families spent the night on the street on the 12th of August. One of our elders took in 5 teens into her home, while the minister and other elders contributed towards food and other items for their stay. Reverend Gordon went to Germiston the following day, having been asked by the session not to go into Germiston on the 12th due to the high level of emotion, and we were worried about unrest. However, Reverend Stewart was there on the next day, chatting to those who had lost their homes as well as to members of our congregation and distributing food parcels. Our Sunday school numbers up to one stage had reached 48 children, but by December 2025, after the eviction, had decreased to an average number of 6 per Sunday. These children have been scattered in all different directions as a result of trying to find alternative accommodation. It's with grateful thanks to God that a number of the children have found their way back to St. Andrews, having found more alternate accommodation in the CBD, while others are taking public transport to come to church on a Sunday morning. Our numbers are now up to an average of between 20 and 25 per Sunday. In conclusion, I would just like to mention that one of the children said to me that St. Andrews is where she feels safe, and for this I give thanks to God.